All right, and I should be streaming. Let's go take a look. Oh, it says I'm starting. And I am live. All right, well, this is the first time I've done a test, continuing the testing this week for streaming, but the label for this stream is not test. So what that means is that today we're going to be going over something that we might actually be doing in the real streams when I do this in the morning, which is little algorithms, little fun things that don't necessarily have any business value, but are just sort of fun to do, fun to work on. Okay, so what am I planning on doing today? I plan on getting a little bit back into Lua and Love2d. So I did a bunch of Lua and Love2d programming like half a year ago, maybe a full year ago. It was mostly in, like, I made some games. I did some Ludum Dare games. I don't think I'm going to be able to participate in this upcoming Ludum Dare this month, but I do want to sort of go in and sort of like get my hand back in there. And also, I might be doing some challenges in the morning with Lua and Love2d. So I'm just sort of gonna hop into it. People watching really isn't a problem for me this morning because this time is for myself to sort of get myself warmed up, do some programming things. Then I'm going to go off to work and do some more real things. All right, so first off, I want to go create a directory. Where do I want to put this? I can put it in. I'm thinking about. I have this live streams repo here, and I have like issues for where I want to put stuff. I'm thinking about just putting the code directly into here and having this be a large repo until GitHub kicks it out for being too big. So, and then I can break it up at that time. I think what I want to do is just clone this down. CD projects, documents projects. Get this in here, CD in the live stream. All right, so what I want to do, let's do random walk Lua. And it has been a while. I just got it where if I have Love and I can run it. I just noticed that it's 11.0 now, which is a significantly higher version than I was using the last time. So things might be slightly different in there. It's going to be fun. And I believe that I want to have like a main file. So let's create that. Open up code in this directory. And let's create a main.lua file. And one question is this big enough text? Oh man, the delay is real. I'm looking at the preview live stream on the dashboard. Tiny window, like a foot away. And it's still in the terminal. All right, so I'm gonna have to wait until that catches up. Actually, I'm just behind. I can skip to current. I think that's gonna work. All right, I'm gonna pause that so it doesn't take all of my computer's processing and internet up. Okay, so I'm also gonna pull out, can I break out the chat? Pop out chat. I want to have that popped out for myself in case anybody is, does join and chats a little bit. That was something that I did when I was streaming with Twitch, is have that popped out so it can be seen. All right, so with the documentation for Lua, which I just on Love2d, which I just went to love2d.org. So we need a load. There's a load, a draw, and an update. So as long as they haven't changed like the basics of how it works, which major version they certainly could have. All right, so let's do function love dot. I don't think I could just do love dot draw. And in here, I want to maybe just create a circle on the screen. So love dot graphics dot, I think it's circle, the X and the Y of where it's centered. So I can do, there is no width, so I'm just gonna do like 50 right, 50 down, and then the diameter of how big it is. And I'm gonna have that be, well, let's say 25. No semicolons in Lua. So if I save this, we come back down and run love. That did not work. I have main.lua, so let's actually, let's look at this documentation a little bit more. Those are all, do I have to tell it, oh yeah, I do have to tell it what directory I want it to load from. Unexpected symbol near open brackets. Oh, I remember now. Lua doesn't use brackets. It's like Python in that way, except it also doesn't care about, using any kind of like extremely rigid spacing system like Python. That over to the side. There. So this should work. Oh, right. Because the end of the function needs to be end. Invalid draw mode 50. And expected one of line or fill. So let's do fill. I remember now. We have to tell it what the color is. Like, do we want it just to be an outline of the circle or the full circle itself? We're going to save that. There we go, and there's our circle. Okay, so we have the very, 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 very basics of a circle here. All right, so I said in the sort of title of this stream that it's going to be a random walk. And random walk, I learned this from Daniel Schiffman's both stream and his book, Nature of Code. And so the idea is that we're going to be replicating the idea of maybe like an ant walking around that doesn't have a path to follow, or a hawk that's searching for food. It's basically every single tick, it's going to choose a random direction and move into that direction. And all of the examples, and that's what I sort of used to expand my class object-oriented based learning. And I was doing that a lot in Lua here. But what I want to do is now sort of switch to learning and doing functional programming. And I have a little bit of the basics of that, but I really want to sort of grow that knowledge for myself. And I'm going to see if I can replicate what I had done there previously with object-oriented programming, but this time in functional programming. And that means I want to be able to have as many of these random walkers on the screen at the same time and not worry, like, which sort of seems like a class would work for it, but without using classes. So let's first like get things set up here. We're gonna need function love.load, function love.draw, and function love dot update. And this is gonna take a delta. I keep on using KK because I'm so used to Vim mode that I do, or my Vim that I have, where I use KK as the ability to drop out of insert mode and into command mode. Maybe that'll be another stream where I reset my Vim and set up that so I can use that for programming here really easily. Okay, so I have all these functions right now. If I were to run this, and I know that I can set that up in code. Extensions, source control, debugging, select environment. Oh man, there's so many. I don't actually know. Can I search this? Love2d. No extensions found. So the answer is no. I know there is a way that I can just tell it, hey, just run the thing that I want to run. Add a configuration. Oh, it just wants me to. This might be something else that I sort of figure out. Maybe spend an entire sort of warm-up stream just learning code enough for me to get this set up. Why are you suggesting JavaScript linters for Lua? That's just, it's not context sensitive of what I'm doing right now, which is a little bit sad. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is whenever I need to launch it, I'm just going to come back here and it's just love dot. And these are the reasons why I might just eventually switch over and use Vim, is because I could just use Tmux or something and everything is just right there and easy. Okay, with love.load, this is going to allow me to change potentially the size of the window. And I don't remember how to do that off of the beginning, but I don't really care that much. Although it would be nice to see whether or not it's super visible. What first I want to do is I want to have an X and a Y coordinate that's going to be saved, maybe in some kind of object. And then I'm going to tell that every single update tick to move, left or right one pixel. Okay, so I would need. Now I can just do a single pixel like this. I could just have globals and say, okay, X equals, well, I need the width first. So I'm gonna have width equals love dot, I think it's graphics dot, and here's where I want to go back to the documentation and figure this out. So I'm gonna go to wiki. I think it's love.graphics. And in here, I want to get width. Yes, love.graphics.get height and get width. and they're just functions. So get width height equals love.graphics.get height. Okay, so these will be global and available to every single bit of my application. Now, in traditional functional programming, that's kind of like not really it's frowned upon. But it is a nice thing to have so that I can inject it into other functions. And potentially the thing is, like, maybe I just don't bother having it here, but having just a single, maybe an object or table in Lua that would have width and height that I can then inject in and use there. Or I just say, okay, well, this love.graphics is available. I should just go directly off there and not create these. For right now, I'm just not going to worry about it. We're going to create it with the global way first, and then sort of refactor this away. So x equals, we're going to start with right in the middle. So width divided by 2, y equals height divided by 2. And I'm probably going to want like a color. So color equals, how does colors work in Lua again? Love.color.set, I want to set the color. Set color. All right, so it looks like it's going to take an RGB. And available since, oh man, a long time ago. Love2graphics set color, RGB, alpha, and oh, it's just a table. So I can just create a table here. Tables are pretty much the exact same thing as objects in JavaScript. So what I can do here is I need red equals, oh, and it's actually, so a table, it's exactly the same as an object in JavaScript, but it doesn't pretend to be anything more than that, because arrays in JavaScript are also objects that are pretending to be lists. So in here, there's no pretending. It's just a table. Okay, so my red, I don't actually know what a good RGB is. Let's just choose a random RGB. Let's choose like a light blue, I think, or 50, 150. I have no idea what color this is gonna be. So in draw, I want to set this color. So love.graphics.setColor, and I'm going to hand it color. And then I'm going to want to sort of set a dot at this X and Y. Now it can either be a circle or it can be an actual point. We're going to do love.graphics.point and just the XY here. So X and Y. And if I do this, save that, I'm gonna pull my, there we go. Love dot. Attempt to call field point a nil value. Okay, so it, love.graphics.point doesn't exist. So let's go figure out what it really is supposed to be. So there's arc, circle, line, love.graphics.point. Removed in love 0.10. It has been replaced by love.graphics.points. And okay, that's interesting. So if I save this, and that is probably impossible to see on the stream. I need to go check that out. Oh yeah, that's absolutely impossible to see. So let's, instead of doing a point, let's do the circle again. I think I'm going to give it, I think it's a radius that I give it. So instead of points, let's do circle. We want to fill. We give it the X and Y coordinates, and then we give it the size. So we can have a, I think it's a radius equals, let's do something like 10. All right, that's significantly easier to see. Now, one thing that I can do is I can now have it start moving around with this update. And so update is going to be called every single tick. But what I can do is use this delta to, well, I guess it's every single tick, but this is going to be tied to the CPU speed, if I remember correctly. And I can use the delta to sort of like smooth things out and make things a little bit better when things are happening. And there's a way to sort of cap this to like the equivalent of 60 frames per second. But I'm not going to use delta for right now. Right now, I just want to make the X and a Y increase by like one or two, like by one, depending upon where we go. So we need to get a direction first. So let's, we can get a random number between 0 and 4. All right. We can get 2 random numbers and change the X and the Y. It's either -1 to 1, -1 to 1, and then we hand that to each of these. Or we just say get 0 through 3, and that be up, down, right, or left. Let's do that. So I want to choose what direction to move first. So let's do, we can create another function and call that. So we'll do create a local variable here. So local direction equals, and we're going to call a function choose random direction, and I don't need to pass anything. Function choose random direction. All right, so inside of here, I want to up, down, left, or right. So let's get a random number first. I think that's going to be in the math section. Love.math.random will get me a number between 0 and 1. And if I hand it a maximum, get a uniformly distributed pseudo-random number within 1 and max. Oh, between 1 and max? So not 0 and max. Interesting. Okay, so I want to local random equals love.math.random between 0. I mean, I can just do 4 and that doesn't actually tell me whether or not it's going to, okay. There is a print function. I don't remember where it is. Is it like love.printf? Love.draw. And bring this over here so we can see it. I mean, there's a lot of these joystick stuff. All right, let's search for print. Maybe printf. Added love.graphics.print. I don't think I want love.graphics.print. Although I could, I suppose, print it to the screen and then we'll see where it is. All right, we can do that. Unless it's in the system. No. I guess I could also just try it, and I could say, all right, print hello, save that, quit you, reset. Hey, look at that, hello being printed out. All right, so I want to print this random number. All right, so stopping it, I'm getting 1, 2, 4, and 3. I'm not seeing 0 or 5, so that should be exactly what we were hoping for. So it's inclusive of this maximum argument that we're handing in here. So let's go ahead and sort of choose if random is equal to 1, can I do this? Return left. How do you do end ifs in Lua? I forget. Lua if. Oh, it's just an end. So I could have an end here too, and just do another ifs, or I could do else if, all one word, random equals 2, then return up, else if random equals 3, then return right, else, well, clearly has to be the else, random equals 4, actually else return what is it, down now. I don't like the look of this. I think I want to put you down like that. Put you down there. You down there. You down there. And then I want an end if. No, just end. Okay, so this will give me a direction to go. So then I want to sort of based upon move this direction. So if direction equals right, then I want to move x equals x plus 1. And I do remember here that there is no like plus plus or plus equals. Longhand required for Lua. But I'm fine with that. All right, so else if direction is equal to, I can do left this time, then x equals x minus 1. Else if direction equals up, then y equals y minus 1. And it's just minus because we're starting with a 0, 0. So if they're going up, we have to remove. And then finally, else y equals y plus 1. End. So let's save this, and this should cause then expected near equal sign main Lua 22. Aha, this. Yep. Missed an equal sign. Let's do this again. And so now it's just starting to like move all over the place. So one thing that I would love to be able to do is store this into, I don't know, maybe make it so that like the line that it's going on stays there. Because like right now it's fine, but I'm wondering if there's a way for us to tell it to always be visible. Like the trace. I know that love.draw, I believe that this is resetting it. I bet there's a way in love here. I bet we can tell it in the love.draw. Or maybe love.load to not reset. No, that's not helpful. Let's go to the great Google to find out. Love2d. Redraw. Maybe like we want to not redraw. Not clear the screen on update. Without actually using your modified love.run function, your best bet is to use a canvas. So you have to clear those manually. You can use them canvas. Oh, interesting. So wait a second. Let's go back. Is that? I bet that's going to be in graphics. Canvas. A canvas is used for off-screen rendering. Think of it as an invisible screen you can draw to, but that will not be visible until you draw it to the actual visible screen. It is also known as a render to texture. Interesting. Okay, so this is meant to like draw things on there, have a whole bunch of stuff, and then draw them onto the screen all at once. But I'm not really doing it in that way. Okay, so Love2Graphics, new canvas. All right, so I want to put this over here to the right now. You to the left like this. Let's give ourselves a canvas. Canvas equals love.graphics.new canvas. The width and the height, the desired width of the canvas and height of the canvas. But if I don't pass anything in with dimensions equal to the window's size in pixels, which is exactly what I want, and available since the latest version, create a 2D or cube map canvas. Oh, interesting. Oh, and textures, and then all the stuff they removed. Okay, now how do I use the canvas? Not render. Oh, examples. Okay, so love.graphics. So here we set the canvas. Rectangles drawn to the canvas with the regular alpha blend mode. Love.graphics.set canvas. Okay, so I have to. Oh, this is in load. So we also have to set. Oh, okay. I see what they're doing. They're just creating this once, like this. I'm probably going to want to do this in update, maybe. So we can set the canvas here. Love.graphics.set canvas. And interesting that they have these tabbed in. I guess it's because like down here they're gonna unset it. And then they can draw the canvas. Well, I don't want to ever unset it. I want to always draw to this specific one. Huh. Love.graphics.clear. Set blend mode. Set color. Set rectangle. Love.graphics.draw and then the canvas. Oh, interesting here. So this is drawing to the canvas because I set the canvas. So that's exactly what I want, because I want to draw this to the canvas. But I'm betting that if I save this and run it, it won't be displayed. Love.event.pump cannot be called while a canvas is active in love.graphics. Oh, interesting. So I do have to cancel it at some point in time. So maybe I don't want to do that here. Maybe in draw, I will love.graphics.set canvas, pass it the canvas. Then these go inside of this canvas. Then I stop setting the canvas. Love.graphics.set canvas to nothing. And I want to do this over and over again because we're sort of moving this every single frame. And it might be good to like do this in update or just have a have another function that handles this completely. And then I want to love.graphics.drawCanvas. Canvas. All right, so let's try this and see what happens. Attempt to call field draw canvas a nil value. Oh, it's just draw and then hand it canvas. And now it's saving everything here because this is the canvas itself. So I'll let this sort of continue running in the background. I can now make this circle smaller. So in radius 10, I can do like radius 3. And we're going to get sort of this random walk that's moving pretty fast throughout the screen. And it's going to create this weird sort of collection of things here. But I sort of like these, they sort of like look like a Rorschach test, especially after we let them run for a really long time. That looks fairly easy to see on the stream. Okay, so if I want to start updating this to now be a little bit more functional, taking things away from here, and I want to have, let's say, multiple of these on the screen, each of them with their own colors, which, by the way, reminds me, I think it's hard for me to tell if that color is actually being set. I want to try changing this a little bit. What if I do like random? Well, okay, red. Let's just do red. 255, 0, and 0. This should be a deep, like very bright red. Okay, so the color is working just fine. I'll just leave that sitting there. What I want to do is start, I'm going to leave the width and the height, but we can just get that with get width and get height. And it doesn't feel like it's really helping that much. So I think I can remove that. The X and the Y, I'm going to want to have a function that's going to essentially return. I'm going to want a factory function, I believe. So let's create one down here. Function and generate maybe we can just call it random walker. Now I don't necessarily care where the start point is right now, but maybe I do. Maybe I can do I'll take in like X and Y. That's where it's going to start. So I'm going to say actually the start, and we're going to want to store internally this X and Y here. So we'll do local X equals start.x, local Y equals start.y. Now, one thing that's really nice about modern JavaScript is that there's destructuring available in JavaScript. Destructuring Lua, is that available? How to unpack table into function arguments. I don't think that's what I want. I guess what I can do is just try it. I'm guessing from these search results that it's not going to work, but I think that'll be fun to see if I could get it to be there. Because I have this X and Y is here. What if I had this? Local X, Y equals start. And I just want to print X and Y. Print X, print Y. So we're going to have random walker. I'm going to create a, I guess I can do X with 2. Just right here, I'm going to have, right below this, so I can use X and Y. I'm going to call random walker. I'm going to pass it table of X, Y. I'm going to save it, kill this. Attempt to perform arithmetic on global width. Oh, it was looking for, where was that again? Main Lua 2. Right. Because I got rid of my width and height. So I'm going to want to turn this in. Wait, I can't create multiple cursors. Oh, there it is. Love dot graphics dot get. I don't know how. Yeah. Okay. Get width, get height. Oh, and I think it's a function. Save that. Ping unlock table nil. Okay, so that destructuring isn't available to me, which isn't really a big problem. We're just going to do something like this. Local x equals start.x, local y equals start.y. So now if I do this, oh, nil and nil. X and Y is passed in here. Oh, I'm actually getting X and Y, so I need something like this. X equals X, Y equals Y. Save that. Then we get the 400, 300. Okay, so maybe let's try this again. Local X, Y equals start. Nope, no. Okay. It was a good try. Okay, so that gives me local x equals start x, local y equals start y. And these will be local variables now. I can have getters on here and return them and like figure out what the position is. So I want to return a table. And in this table, we're going to have x equals x, y equals y. Save this. So now, instead of x and y like this, I'm going to have random walker x equals love.graphics.get. I can even have this as be a select a random number, get width, divided by 2. And then over here, you're going to be exactly the same except get height. Divided by 2. And you'll be down there at the end. So, okay, so we're gonna create a random walker, and what I want to do is sort of like store this somewhere. And it looks like I might have to store this in a global, but I can also create this local to this, I believe local to this file. So we have a random walk and just sort of end it like that. And then my random walk is going to be set equal to calling this random walker. Now I can start setting these things like color and radius. These are all going to be inside of here. We'll have a local for each of these. Okay, so this way we'll have slightly color and radius. We can make this smaller. We can eventually play with random values for these on generation. Which means that I'm going to need to export the color equals color. Radius equals radius. And then we have the canvas that we're creating. All right, so in love.draw, so we're setting the canvas to the canvas. We set the color, but now we need to set it to random walk.color. Let me make this a little bit bigger, easier to see. Circle is going to be fill, X and Y. So these are both going to be random walk. Dot X and Y. And we have our radius here, which is just the random walk. Dot radius. We reset our canvas here. We draw the canvas out. We get our directions. Well, we can put a lot of this logic into the actual, into here now. Because we could have, okay, so we choose a random direction, and then we want to tell random walk. So random walk dot move and pass it a direction. Now this will all go into here. So we'll want a function move, because that's what it was, right? Yeah, move. And we're going to take a direction. And inside of here, we're going to paste. And then these are local to here. So this should just work as is, and we need to export move. Move equals move. And then, all right, so that should be fine here. Let's see if everything sort of works exactly the same as we had it before. I see a dot here on my screen. It's very faint on the preview, but it doesn't seem to be moving at all. So let's figure out what's going on. So we have in update, we're getting a random direction. So we know that that's working. we're telling random walk to move. This should be updating these. I mean, it should be updating these. Because like X should be changing around. And then in love.draw, we get random walk. And we change that. So maybe what I want to do is, after this, is print random walk dot x. Print random walk dot y. And if it's okay, so it's not changing at all. So this move function, let's make sure that it's being called correctly. So we will print the direction. I want to remove these other prints. Okay, well it is calling the function properly, and it's passing the strings. So we are getting like the right, left, up, and else here. And we have the local X, local Y. But it doesn't seem to be I wonder if it's because that I need to have like an actual getter here. Now we are running into the end of the stream, so I think next time I'll continue working on this, and that's how I'm gonna do a lot of these streams. It's sort of warming up, doing some of these challenges. When I finish the challenge, we'll start a new one, and it'll be good. I'm also gonna be putting this on GitHub so that they can be found and followed along with. And I want to, I want to show that here on this live stream where I'm going to put this code, I have these issues here, which are potential things that I can work on. For example, this one is through nature of code, but instead of doing it in processing or P5.js, I'm doing it in Lua and Love2d. I think that's a little bit fun, but there's lots of other things that we can sort of do and play around with. Also, I'm aware that these videos might be watched after the fact, and I think that's perfectly fine. So I'm going to take a look at the dashboard here. I think at the end, there's nothing I need to do here. Just press the stop button. All right. Well, thank you for watching this. If you're seeing this as a VOD, I am planning on experimenting with this live stream for the month of April here. I was previously streaming a couple months ago. I stopped, but before that, I was streaming on Twitch.tv, and I want to experiment with YouTube streaming, sort of see how that is, if I like it more. And with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your day.